In the spirit of the holidays and well wishes and happiness for all, let's talk about a little bit about ICE and immigration enforcement in the USA that's making the USA better. And I did a video like this about 2 weeks ago, but somehow it got blocked or it was never, something happened. Whether it was a glitch or sabotage, I don't know. But here we go again. I'm addressing again the unconstitutional, illegal enforcement of immigration laws in the USA, where not just illegal immigrants are being hurt, but also legal immigrants and also US citizens. And I'm going to give you a few examples that I gave in that video. And then it's funny because some people were criticizing me in previous videos about how, why are you covering your face? When ICE immigration is covering their faces, all I'm doing is speaking on a video. Freedom of speech. While people out there that are obviously thugs abusing human rights cover their faces and they excuse it with, oh, they're protecting their identities so they don't get attacked and hurt. Well, what about the FBI? What about the DEA? What about the U.S. Marshals? What about all the law enforcement that are fighting real dangerous criminals? Not the worst of the worst, like the lying DHS Secretary Kristen Noem says on often. This is people that are not. Yes, there were people that were killed by undocumented illegal aliens. That's horrible. People that were gang members, horrible. But now they're targeting people that are just even U.S. citizens. Even people that were here illegally. But they're not criminal. They just came here illegally. They let their visa expired. Or they came here illegally through across the border. And they just built a life here, working and living and having a decent, normal, next neighbor life without attacking and hurting anyone. So let's go over this real quick. And before we continue, let me just get this off so you guys can get comfortable about it. Why are you covering your face? All right. And the video that was made about, I guess 2 weeks ago, was about a police officer. Well, I shouldn't say police officer. I blew the joke. A Hispanic man, an off-duty police officer in New York, showed up at a courthouse building, and there he was detained by ICE because there was an immigration facility there or a courthouse that had immigration affairs. He was detained, harassed because he looked foreign, and he pulled out his badge. And if you guys haven't seen this video, you should Google the video. It is quite entertaining when the police officer just tells these ICE thugs off. He tells them, you're scumbags. I mean, I don't have to tell you, just Google it. It's entertaining because they stop a guy who is a U.S. citizen, a police officer, an officer of the law, just like them, and he was harassed just because he looked foreign. And that's one of the things that are causing problems in the U.S. Another case was where a man was trampled and attacked. Like when you watch football games, when people are like tackled and real hard, this man was tackled. This guy is 77 years old, and he was the owner of a car wash business. He was tackled down, and he was a U.S. citizen. Yes, he was an immigrant. He came here, I guess, maybe 30 years ago or so. But he became a U.S. citizen. He was tackled down, hurt, and he got bruises, broken ribs. He was a U.S. citizen. And none of these people are being violent or aggressive. None at all. And you can verify this yourself if you Google the information. Another one was a construction worker who was, I guess he looks in about his early 30s, maybe late 20s. And he was a U.S. citizen as well. But he had an accent. He was Hispanic or minority. And then again, he was tackled down, violently put down to the ground like he was a dangerous person. And people around the ICE agents are telling him, hey, he's a U.S. citizen. He's been here for a long time. And they didn't listen. The point is like, oh, you have to verify. No, you cannot treat somebody violently if they're not resisting, they're not being mean, they're not being rude, they're just being attacked violently and sometimes detained in facilities for 2 or 3 days until they verify they are legal citizens. And then in the meantime, they were there for 2 days suffering abuse and mistreatment. And then now that I'm making this video, it comes timely because last week during Thanksgiving, yes, there was a girl who was traveling from one state, Massachusetts, to Texas to spend Thanksgiving with family. She was a girl, a freshman in college, and she was detained at the airport. And then she was ordered, and even though there was an order not to deport her, I understand that she was legal or pending process, but she was not a completely legal person. She wasn't in a pending court case situation, from my understanding. And they just picked her up and sent her off to Central America within 2 days. And they ruined the whole family's Thanksgiving. The whole family now is in chaos because of this person who's not a worst of the worst. Again, this is abuse by the DHS, USCIS, ICE. And that's not the thing of it. There are so many cases around the U.S. happening right now. You know what the funny thing is about it? You taxpayers are paying for this because many of these people are filing lawsuits against the government for abuse and mistreatment of U.S. citizens and legal residents or people with legal status. And who's going to have to pay? Us taxpayers. Because they're not being civil about the way they treat immigrants. Oh, they're suspect that maybe they undocumented. You don't do that. You treat them with respect until you verify. Even after you verify they're illegal, you're not supposed to mistreat them in such a violent way. Another case that came to mind right now is about, it was a half situation, a half and half. It was a mother who was an American citizen, a Caucasian woman, and a husband who I believe, yes, I think he was undocumented, and they had their baby in their car. And an ICE agent blocked them in the road, right? They were driving, and the officer came out of the vehicle with the gun drawn towards into the vehicle. And the mother, a U.S. citizen, a white woman, Caucasian woman, was yelling, "There's a baby in here, there's a baby in here." And then one of the other ICE officers smashed the window open, and I don't need to tell you the rest. That's totally unacceptable to happen in U.S. right now. Abuse of power, abuse of the Constitution. Even people say, oh, they're not U.S. citizens, they're not Americans. It's BS. Read the Constitution. There's no right to abuse people, even if they're illegal. It's no right to do that. Even check out what's happening in those facilities around the U.S. that are holding immigrants, legal and illegal. And this is not going to be good. Wait for the 2026 elections, because a lot of conservatives who are sane and not bigoted, hateful people, MAGA type, and independents, wait and see. And those will be held accountable. Happy holidays.